What's up, guys? It's Will and John back here. The MMA Huddle is back, and we are coming off the UFC 229 press conference, which was a little bit a lot over the top. A lot was said, a lot of information was dug up from the depths by Conor McGregor. Khabib trying to figure out probably what Conor. It's at the end of the day, no matter what, it's good to have Conor back for the simple fact he puts a buzz into the sport, whether it's good or bad. But we're pretty much going to get into this, and we're going to kind of break down pros, cons, everything trying to do with this fight. But first of all, we hit 300 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. That was the end of 2018 goal, and we hit it with 3 months to spare. So we're not going to make a goal for the rest of the year. We're going to see where we end up and then make a goal probably the start of next year and see what we can get to and hopefully smash that one as well. So as always, thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for your support and your comments and everything else, and just thank you for listening, because you don't have to do it. So you're obviously good old people to be going ahead and doing that. So we thank you very much. John, I'm sure you're as pumped up as I am after watching that. It's just great to have Conor back, whether you like him or don't. He's bringing a buzz to October 6th, which we've not had this year. To be honest with you, we've not.
Now, UFC has finally got a hype this year. 2018's first hype. It's crazy. And I really fancy whiskey right now. I don't know about you. Mate, it was just good to finally see on social media as well the kind of like the hype and the excitement, because at what were they saying before I know the press conference was 40 minutes late, but it had 300,000 people viewing it before it started. Yeah. So I don't know what the numbers were during. I didn't get a chance to that because I was watching it. It was a half. There you go.
I took a picture and it was 5-3 or something. So it was like that's a lot of people for a presser. So
yeah.
We just don't get numbers like that when Conor McGregor's not around. Plain and simple.
No, we don't, because we don't have any other guys who are stars or girls, because partly maybe the UFC don't promote them in the way they should, and they're not promoting the right people. They're probably hoping to certain people, because we all know they want certain people to win, so they can promote certain people in certain ways, and it just doesn't work out for them. But yeah, mate, I'm just kind of analysing what just happened while trying to get ready for what we're going to do for all you people at home right now. But we'll tell them what we're going to do right now, what this is, because I suppose we better tell them it's not a normal breakdown, if that makes sense.
No, it's not. Like I say, it's been hard doing for me personally as a Conor McGregor fan. Like whether you're a fan or not, you take shit regarding Conor McGregor. It's just if you mention his name, and depending on the people you're around, you're either going to get good vibes, or you're going to get bad vibes, you're just going to get whatever. And for the last few weeks, or the last couple of cards, nothing wrong with the last couple of cards. If you're a hardcore fight fan, you'll watch fights. But you've been looking at October 6th, and you've been looking at what's coming ahead. And, like, there's only certain fights I make kind of notes for. I'll write stuff down, or I'll jot things down, or make notes on the phone while I'm going to work, or I'm at work. I could be in the middle of doing something, and something will come at my head, and I'm like, oh, I need to talk about that. I need to look into that. And this is doing it in abundance, and I cannot wait for October the 6th. It's going to be a crazy night. But when you just look into the matchup, there is so many variables. But really, when you look at it, it's two skill sets that you see. It's either going to go one way or the other. There's no kind of middle ground. There's either you know what's going to happen. It's either Conor this, Khabib that. Is it going to be early? Is it going to be later? It's such a fun fight to look at. And for years, we've had people saying Conor McGregor is not he's avoided certain types of fighters. I don't think you can say that. This guy would fight anybody, because, like he said at the press conference tonight, there was no need for this guy to come back. Let's be honest. He doesn't need to come back. He's just launched his bomb-ass whiskey, which is going to absolutely sail through the roof, without a shadow of a doubt. But he wants to fight. And the one thing I always think is legacy of a fighter. If he was to do the business October 6th, you look at the names that guy's beat. I don't care who you are. You've got the best featherweight of all time. You've got the undefeated guy who nobody wanted to fight for the longest time. You can add Porry, Max Holloway, the fucking list goes on. Nate Diaz, he's beaten some legit badass names, and he's still, I think he's only just turned 30.
30, yeah.
So that guy's got some years if he wants to. That's the thing, if he wants to, and he keeps his head straight, which sometimes he doesn't. But we're really just pinpointing aspects of the game here, which are going to be very vital come early October. And that fight week is going to be crazy. I'm really hoping they do a countdown show.
Yeah, they've got to, haven't they?
I saw something earlier on saying like this is the only thing Conor's doing. There's no media through the week. There's nothing. I'd be really surprised if they didn't do a countdown show or at least McGregor do something on the Mac Live. It's crazy, but we're really just going to be looking at pros, cons, just kind of everything in between. Probably just talking about where we think this fight can be won and lost. And it's not hard to see where the fight is won and lost. If you watch the fights, or maybe if you don't, maybe if you're new here and you don't particularly know much about the skill sets of either guy, which with Conor it'll be a little bit less because his name's out there, but Khabib, if you don't know who this guy is, the guy's a stone cold killer. Like, he's an absolute, and you've even seen it the stare down. I'm seeing people saying on Twitter, oh, Conor's got him here, Conor's got him there, and I'm thinking, as much as I'd like to agree with you in some of that, you're talking out your ass.
Yeah.
He was stonewalled. I still don't think he wanted to be on the stage with Conor. I think he'd had enough. And when that's gonna mess with your head, and especially when you don't probably understand what he's saying. He's talking about your father. He's talking about your leader of your country. He's talking about a guy who's in jail for embezzlement charges, which is kind of crazy when you go and look into that. I can see what it is, but what we're going to do? We're going to start with.
Should we do Conor on, and then we'll do another one with Khabib, or do you want to put them both? Because we'll do two separate ones. How's that? We'll do two separate podcasts.
Yeah.
So we'll do Conor first, and then we'll give Khabib.
Yeah.
Not favoritism. I'm just saying we'll do Conor first. All right.
Yeah. So where are we going to start? We're going to start. We're going to have to start with his offensive ability. I think
but
pretty clear.
Yeah.
When you look at Conor McGregor, obviously his biggest attribute is his striking.
Yeah.
But there's so many other aspects that goes along with his striking. His mental preparation, his visualization, which I think is huge. And one of the things I've always admired about him, he said when he came into sport, he wanted to do this, he wanted to ding, 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 and he's there and he's exceeded it. But in his fights, he's visualizing how he's going to knock him out. It's what fight was it? The Aldo fight. They've got the camera on him in the training room,
doing the exact move, yeah.
And he absolutely nails him with the perfect shot that he did in the fight. Unbelievable searing accuracy with power for days. And fighters get shocked with that power. It's clear that you can see it. Everybody, they get jolted with that shot, and they react different. Whether you wake up from it or you don't, you're affected by it, and it's in there, and you don't want to be dealing with that going forward. What else do you put in alongside him? He's got a kicking game, which I really don't think we've seen. I think he showed that a lot before he came into the UFC with his Cage Warriors. Maybe a little bit of his early stuff. He threw a little bit of the flashy stuff.
The Nate Diaz fight, he showed it a lot more.
In the second fight, I think he looked into that.
Second fight,
he looked into that. He realised that he couldn't slug. He had to kind of mix up. Nate Diaz is, but let's be honest, Nate Diaz is fucking terrible at blocking leg kicks.
He doesn't block them. He doesn't block it till it's too late. It's the strangest thing ever.
That's just the Diaz mentality, just to eat those shots to get trying something off.
Yeah.
But then you've got
managing distance, mate.
He reads.
He is so. It's beautiful to watch him control the distance, because he doesn't do it in. It's not like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a bit different in that sense, where Stephen Wonderboy Thompson will move away a lot and to get distance, but Conor keeps close, but not close enough for there to be interaction, and that's what I love about the Conor, this kind of aggressive and kind of manner, the kind of behavior that he has. He will be just there in front of you, so you know that you can't relax And that's what's horrible. So if you're trying to relax for a minute, he's so close. He could just get in to get a pop in. So you're always tense, you're always ready, you're always prepping because you don't know what's coming. And he's just always almost in that kind of long kick distance. He's just out of shot of a straight, like a straight punch, but a kick, a teep could reach. And that's what he does. Like you said about the leg kick game. Look at Chad Mendes' fight. Straight away, he knew Chad Mendes was short notice. He knew that Chad Mendes was not going to be... He'd been cutting weight all week to make the weight. So, you know, he knew that Chad wasn't going to be exactly on fire. Knew that Chad only had a short gas tank. So straight away, in that first round, but in between the takedowns, he was kicking those body shots. Straight away, just teeping, just to knock the wind out of Chad. And that's what won him that. Was more just chipping away at him, knowing that Conor was like, I've got 5 rounds to just chip away, tire him out. And that's the kicking game that I liked about Conor, where he wasn't throwing leg kicks to get taken down. He was actually throwing the body kicks, because if you took me down, I was landing that body kick, and that's all that matters. So that's something I like about it, how he keeps that distance just beautiful, where he's just in shot with the kick. So for him, that's vital in this fight against someone like Khabib, where he just needs to keep that distance, manage it correctly, keep that range just where he needs it. Where a lot of this, if you watch his fights, especially the Eddie Alvarez fight, the Chad fight, obviously his prior fights with like Max Holloway, etc. A lot of, if you notice, with his right hand, 'cause he's southpaw, the tapping of the gloves, he'll always just palm out and tap the gloves, and that's his rangefinder. So a lot of guys throw jabs out. Conor's actually quite patient with his strike, and he'll just tap the hands. Because if he taps your hand, he knows he can get a left in. So he'll tap the hands. As that's back, he pops that left in. So it's pop, pop, pop. And it's very, very subtle. And a lot of guys, I'm really surprised they haven't caught on to it. That's all he's doing. He's just tapping. If he doesn't get, if you watch his fights back, people, when he taps, if he doesn't touch the hands, nothing's released. But if he touches your hands and he touches again, that's enough for him. He goes, right, that's it. I've touched it twice. I popped the shot. And that's something that, you know, Khabib, I hope that his corner can think about, you know, look into that. But if you haven't, that's Conor's pretty much bread and butter, is tap, tap, pop. Tap, tap, pop. And man, that is deadly. That left, whew, like, it's smooth, it's calm, and just follows through the hand. And it's horrible. Like, guys don't like getting hit by that hand. Look at Diego Brandao.
Yeah. It's anticipation.
Yes.
I think every fight that's kind of went on with Conor in the UFC, and he's seen what he does, and he drops everybody with it pretty much. Yeah. So the anticipation of that shot probably overawes you a little bit, and you're scared to get hit by it, and you don't want it, and it's. But you got to remember, he has got other skills. He's super reliant on that left hand, because he knows it's fast, he knows it's there, and he knows once he hits you once, he's going to get you with it again, at least you would think. One of the big things I've always loved with Conor McGregor is angles. Angles. Light on his feet and angles is horrible for any fighter. Now, it's not something that sticks around with him too long, because he will. You watch the Poirier fight, he comes out, he throws a few angles, he realises this guy is so slow. Yeah. Got him here, so he sets and plants his feet. And to his credit in that fight, he takes a shot. I think Poirier took a tooth out. He took a shot. So, but he realised that he's not got the power to put me down, and I have. So he stood in the pocket there, and he intimidated Dustin Poirier, where he backed him up into that perfect position and caught him. And it's the way he moves off. He moves his body as well. So we're not just talking about angles with feet. You're talking with angles with his body movement, and the way he throws his shot. Now, you know what the shot's coming. It's a straight left. It's like the Aldo punch will always be one of for the simple fact he took a shot to get the shot, and he nailed him with the shot. But his angles, it's hard. When you look at Conor McGregor, there's a lot of things to like, and there's a lot of other things you're just not sure about. I think personally, I'm a fan. I'm going to talk high love Conor McGregor, and I'm a fan of Khabib. You cannot be a fan of Khabib, honestly. I don't know how you can hate on Khabib. I've seen people try and hate and pick and everything at Khabib, and I don't understand it.
No,
myself.
I don't get it.
No, I don't get it. And like, there's not too many guys in the sport that I will vehemently not want to win a fight. Like, there's a few guys in there that I've not got the most amount of time for, but people are downtrodden the skills what Khabib's got against Conor. And like I say, if we're looking at Conor's big weapons, it's obviously striking, but what else have we got? So we've got managing distance, footwork, very light in the feet, and angles. Anything to make a deceptive, like a striker, absolutely elite. And he is an elite striker. There's no doubt about it. You can't. He went into boxing, and I still think he did well in certain parts of that fight. Whether he was allowed to make it a bit easy, and like Floyd took it a bit easy on him, I think he kind of did a little bit, honestly. But he still showed, like, that uppercut that he landed in Mayweather was beautiful. Yeah. He lands that. Khabib here. Khabib is not moving, I don't think. I think that's a beautiful shot. And that's something he's going to bring across from boxing as well. But what I love, like Conor, obviously his confidence. And I love his confidence. I love how he knows he's going to get in there and he can do it and so on.
It does work. And what one of the things is when he's competing is he sets up your reactions. So if you watch some of his fights as well, folks, you see that he throws like a jab or a straight, but really slow. So he'll just do that movement. He's just doing the movement of the strike. Yeah, and you then react. So what he learns is your reaction. So if your reaction is to put your hands up, okay, cool. You put your hands up when I put my hands towards you, or if you tap your hand, or if you move it, whatever you do, he learns. Anderson Silva is a good example like that as well. Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida, beautiful. I think Lyoto Machida is possibly one of the best. Lyoto Machida always used those fake twist of the hips to get you to react, and when he learned your reaction, he'd hit you. Conor does the same. Conor would just throw a couple of just 50% speed just to get the reaction to see what you do. Then he learns from that, and then that's how he'll strike and attack you. So that's one of the big things about Conor I like, and so I think that's something he needs to do with Khabib. He needs to set up Khabib to learn how he's going to react to the strikes, because for all we know, Khabib could have done something in training to maybe just find a way to defend it. I think his counter-striking is probably going to be the way he is going to win this. It's not going to be his aggressive manner as he always is, because obviously if he's going forward, that kind of leads to where Khabib's strength lies with someone being aggressive towards him. So he wants to be the counterman in this fight. He wants to be the patient guy, because you've seen Khabib striking, not the same level.
No.
We've seen it. His chin's out. One of the things that Khabib's flaw is for me is that uppercut that he throws. You know, we talked about Conor's the uppercut Khabib always likes to throw with his right. He always puts his hands down and then punches like that, and I don't understand why he does it, because he's always leaving his face out. And if you look at the Eddie Alvarez fight, Conor by the second round had the timing of Eddie's right hand. Eddie just wound it up and then shot that right hand, and it was slow, it was telegraphed. Anyone at home could read that coming, and Conor just slipped his head away, knew that was coming, just slipped out just slightly, and then came over the right, came over the left, knew it was there all day long, and then knew that Eddie was going to put his head down, because that's what he did in the first round, and then this time he just popped up with the right uppercut, over with the left again, and the right uppercut, because you know, Eddie didn't know where to put his head. And I think this is where Conor can get the win in this fight, where he has that counter strike. He knows that Khabib's only got a set combination of strikes he's really going to throw at him, to be fair. Drill those combos. Wait for one of them drills, those set pieces that Khabib has for the grappling, and just angle, like you said there about the angles, Will. Yeah. Step, angle, counter. Just do that all day long. Don't bother trying to do anything else. Doesn't need to be fair, because we know Khabib's going to come to him. So for Conor, that's one of the big things for him. Bro, can you switch your camera on and off just because it's zoomed in on you again? I don't know why it does it. It's Skype. It's a fussy technical pile of poop. So yeah, that's for me like one of the things, like because the timing of his strikes is just so nice with the counters. Like he learns to first kind of combination, and that's when he can start to pick it up. So I like the fight IQ because he's quite good with the fight IQ and learning what you're going to do next. He's also good because if he cracks Khabib does the panic takedowns that everyone tried on Conor, and Conor's actually okay at defending panic takedowns. You know, when people are shooting for panic takedowns because they're wobbled, Conor's okay. He can muscle out of it. He can get the underhooks in. He can turn and get out, and he's all good. And that's something, you know, a lot of guys have failed on because they get cracked, they get rocked, and they kind of just crumble a little bit on him.
Yeah, it's fairly. If you look at McGregor, if he keeps open space in this fight, he's going to eat Khabib alive. But if he backs up anywhere near that fence, that's when he could be in trouble. One of the things you see from the Mendes fight as well, he when you try and pressure him for a takedown, he can he's got the strength to buck you off. But Khabib is the bigger guy here, and he's going to have more strength than what. That's his bread and butter. His bread and butter is not striking. He just wants to get his hands on you some way, and if he can, there's an opportunity. 95% he's going to get you down. But is Conor strong enough to keep Khabib off him? I think for a few rounds. After that, you've got to worry about him a little bit. I think the pros for Conor are all there to see. He's a great striker, super cerebral, smart fighter. I don't think he ever gets the credence for. He's smart everywhere. Let's be honest. Smart with his businesses, smart with what he says, smart with what he does. Sometimes, except for those times when maybe he's on something that he shouldn't be on and he's going off. Yeah. But there's so much to like about him, but there's also a lot of things that are not super glaring. I suppose we should maybe start looking at some of his weaknesses a little bit, and not unless there's something else you want to talk about regarding anything else.
It was more a case of the psychological warfare is a huge weapon.
Yeah.
It's a huge weapon if you've got to think about it, because Jose Aldo, let him get under his skin. Eddie Alvarez, let him get under his skin. Chad Mendes didn't, because there was no time for Chad Mendes to get that to affect him. So, you know, for Chad, he didn't even listen to probably half of Conor was saying because he was cutting weight. And we saw that, you know, Chad had success in that first round. You know, that's a big one to watch, is the success that Chad had. You know, he was actually able to hold Conor down for quite a bit, cut him open with that elbow in the first, wasn't it? Yeah. So he did show, like you said, openings. And I'm sure Conor's worked on the grappling, but I think that Conor's psychological warfare is a big factor. There's no real psychological warfare going on. We've had the presser just now. That's the only time Conor had a chance to put anything on to Khabib, because other than that, they're not going to see much of each other until like fight week, and that's not really enough time. You look at what Conor did with Jose; it was going on for on, and they had the world tour, loads of stuff going on. Everyone prior to this had quite a bit of time to kind of be on, and you know, war of words and just go at them. I think that plays a factor. I think Conor, obviously at the presser, he just literally did not want to stop because he wanted to get as much as he could on to try and plant something. And hey, we don't know if it affected Khabib. We saw he looked like a standard Russian KGB serial killer. You know, he just didn't dead stonewall face. But that's one of the weapons I think that Conor you have to put it in a tick box for him. It's a beautiful art form that he has. Yeah,
he can make fighters lose confidence in their own abilities just by opening his mouth.
Yeah.
And believing what he's saying, which it must be hard for a fighter if you're face to face with a fighter and he's saying these things and it's affecting your mentality, and it's got to frazzle your mind a little bit. This is why I thought that Conor maybe screwed up a little bit by not doing a little bit more, because I think if he was to pick at Khabib, say like over 3 or 4 different venues, say they went to New York and then went to Dublin, or they went to London, or they went to even Russia.
It'd
be crazy if it went there. I still think he could find so much. It doesn't matter who's with Khabib, everybody's going to get it. Ali Abdelaziz, you open your mouth around about Conor, he's got dirt on everybody.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't think he overly got to I don't think he got to Khabib. I think there was some things that really irked him when he brought up his father. And there was
when you bring family into it,
yeah,
I think that's like Khabib is so respectful. Like Khabib wouldn't bring Conor's son into it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just the only kind of way I'm kind of thinking of that is just he's going at everything and something. If one doesn't work, he's going to pick at something else. And he went to the Magomedov thing, which if you don't know, there is plenty of articles. Mike Russell and Kareem Zidane do all that online. I can't remember his first name's a little bit weird to say, but Magomedov, he was put in jail in May this year for embezzlement. Supposedly he was quite close with Khabib, and Khabib was potentially getting money, and in
the gym and stuff like that, like a sponsored fighter kind of thing.
Yeah, but like a little bit dirty money, I think, was kind of thrown his way regarding that. But it fascinates me. Like Mike Tyson did it. Mike Tyson opened his mouth and you could probably barely make out what that guy was saying half the time. But if you're still scared shitless with what he was saying to you, and then you had to go fight this guy, and that's why I love him, because Conor knows he's got one of the biggest power shots in the world with these little gloves on, and it doesn't take much to hit you. And I mean, that's scary. It must be scary for any opponent that kind of happens to. And just he's a really, I'm not going to say he's a complete fighter, but he's a complete fighter in the fact that he can get you before you're even in there. There's fighters that can do it quite well. Chael Sonnen was good for a while. But he could never really back it up. I don't think. I think. Well, who knows what he was on? First of all,
because, for how long? Yeah. So, I think Conor
never had that really, because he's never really done with anything like that. Like so.
Chael was he was never like that though. Originally, he just kind of brought that. He kind of added that to his game, Chael, and it was one of them things that he realised that's something that would improve him on a sales perspective, if that makes sense, on the roster and the fights, and it was something that worked for him. But Conor's kind of always had that about him. If you go back to Cage Warriors days and the interviews and stuff, he's always had a little bit more, and it's just grown in time, and obviously it's manifested to what he is now.
The one thing that I think, looking at it, is that I don't mind that Conor's lost fights.
Happens.
Because he's learned from it, and he's improved from it. Improved on it in some capacity, and some that he hasn't. Because he's obviously, when he's concentrating so much on his striking, other parts of his game are not getting the work that they should. But I think the pressure, like I've said, I think I've said this maybe already tonight, but the pressure's on Khabib, in my opinion. I think the pressure is on him. He's got that all there. He's claiming that he's not lost, and he hasn't lost, but he's got the belt. Conor walks in with 2 belts tonight, which I thought was pretty genius, even though it was a bit kind of, but pretty genius. I think that's what set Ali off, actually. I think he mentioned something regarding his belts, and then obviously Conor was chirping at Ali, and Dana was like, no, shut your mouth, da, da, da. So, it's just so fun just thinking about the fight in a couple of weeks, and I'm just hoping that everything stays the way it is, and we get the fight that we want to see. And let's get into the weaknesses. We might as well get into the weaknesses, because there is.
There's every fighter has weaknesses. Everyone's got a weakness. There's no fighter out there who is perfect. Like Anderson Silva is a great example. Great striker, good submissions, couldn't defend takedowns for the love of money. So everyone's got a weakness.
John Jones is the most complete fighter. We haven't seen those weaknesses as much, but his weakness, is actually outside in real life.
Cocaine.
Yeah, his weaknesses are outside the cage. You put him in the cage, he's pretty flawless, and you cannot say he's not, because he's dominated pretty much everybody, whether he's been at full speed or he's been doing shit. Or because I dread to think the amount of stuff that guy was on going into fights. Honestly, and we've only seen the cusp of it, and that's why I was going to put out a tweet the other night when they said that he got his ban October 28th or whatever. I thought, how long is it going to be? Because he's going to do something again. There's no way he can stay squeaky clean.
He will come off the rails soon.
And he's
UFC have got to get him in there as soon as possible to get what they can out of him before he goes off again. USADA are going to be right up John Jones's. They're going to be all over him. He's going to get a lot of 6 a.m. calls, and they've got to make the most of it. But anyway, that's a different subject. We're not here about Mr. John Jones. We're here about we're going to talk about the flaws of Conor. Yeah. There are flaws. I think one of the things is conditioning. I'll say it.
Yeah.
He is a 2-round beast. After that, and even then he starts to flag in late in the second. He starts to go. End of. You can't sit, and no one can deny. Look, the best one was that night. If you're putting pressure on him, you're landing strikes. He starts gassing.
He takes breaks.
He needs to recharge. Yeah, it's like a computer game. Like you see that, zzz, pow, zzz, pow.
I think it showed in the first Diaz fight.
It did, yeah.
He tried to put everything into every shot, and then when he never had it there, he got hit with a few shots, and then it was like, and it went downhill from there. So
yeah, so even though he talks about this fitness thing, this McGregor fitness plan, whatever it is, I'm just like, dude, you're not that great at efficiency in your energy levels, and that's one of the flaws he has. You know, it's as much as it's good to put power in your strikes. I don't know what it is. It just isn't that great, that conditioning, and you know, there's going to be if there is a lot of grappling, man, conditioning is king when it comes to that. So that's one of the flaws I noticed big time about him. You know, and it's always been there. I think we've all noticed it. You know, you see him taper off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. His conditioning, there's definitely something. It's not like an elite skill set that he's got regarding it. There's some fighters there that can go hard 25 minutes. He cannot do that. And it's maybe because the movement that he's got, and he puts a lot into that, and staying light in his feet, and trying to evade strikes per se. But there's definitely the one thing that I've looked into, and I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. That's why I say to people that ask me regarding fights, I was in Vegas for Mendes and McGregor, and I seen him get off his back. Now, I don't think not unless he sleeps him really early, Conor's going to find a way to get to his back. And he found a way against Mendes to get back to his feet. I'm not sure he can do that with Khabib. I think initially he might be strong enough, but I think if you're trying to get off your back or out of side control or whatever, that exploits some serious. Not that I've did that much myself. I've did a bit, and my fat ass can't take it. But stuff like that must absolutely zap the energy off you. And Khabib will put him in that position for as much time as he wants, and he's got to literally get a bear off him to get back to his feet. But that's something that I think is a little bit of a pro and a con. Obviously, getting put in your back is never great, but he has managed to get back off his back and win fights from that. But there's definitely weaknesses. I still think he can take a shot. I think the right person could hit him with a shot. I don't think Khabib's that guy because his technique's not there. But he's got a great chin. When you look at other flaws, conditioning is obviously the big thing that sticks out in his grappling, wrestling. And I've heard him talk about his jiu-jitsu and that in the past, but it's pretty non-existent, let's be honest.
He tries to avoid
using it. He has one. Did he not get a nice, I cannot remember the name of it now.
Guillotine?
No, it was something, it was like a transition he made on the ground. Like
sweep. It was a sweep, butterfly sweep.
Yeah, that's sweep. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was a butterfly guard. So you have your feet inside the thighs and you can sweep them up. So inside leg, but what he'll use sweeps, but then again, what worries me with it is actually he's not great at taking leg kicks. Like, he's open to leg kicks.
Yeah.
There's no way people like calf kicks are coming in, right? Calf kicks is the new craze. He is open to calf kicks, and you're not exposing yourself as much as you go when you go for a thigh kick. So a calf kick's there because it's such a wide stance. It works for avoiding punches, but the legs can reach a bit further than the punch and go low. It's just, that's something I always think about.
I think that's probably Khabib's probably best strike option.
Yeah.
I don't think, but then when he throws leg kicks, he's going to be open. Is he going to be open up top?
You can't. You can but there's two styles. There's kickboxing or Muay Thai. There's Dutch kickboxing. Now the differences are if you do Muay Thai or when you throw the kick, you throw the arm. Like if I'm throwing my right side, my hand goes here to block. So you go from here to here. So I'm there, you're there, and that's how you block the kick. So a lot of guys get lazy and they do this, but what you should be doing is your hand should be coming across to block any counter, and your arm goes back here, and while the leg goes across. What I like about Dutch kickboxing is they keep the hand out, so you'll throw the right there, and you'll throw the leg kick while the arm's out, and what that does then, it creates a kind of barrier between yourself and the opponent, and then you can still throw the leg kick, and then there's no counting, so you just bring the hand back, and you can carry on striking. I'm surprised a lot of guys in MMA don't adopt this. Look at the Franklin fight, he was very lazy. If you watch his fight, very lazy the kicks on Kung Lee, and then Kung Lee just saw it, boom, put you out. If you do Dutch style kickboxing, very simple, easy technique to remember to put your hand out, whacking the leg kicks. It blows my mind, and a lot of guys in the MMA world don't use it more often because they'd be a lot safer. If Khabib does that, he's a lot safer and reduces the chances. I'm not saying he can't get hit, but I'm just saying he knocks the chances down a lot more.
Yeah. We could go on about really the big kind of aspects of what Conor's not good at. Is obviously we've really kind of spoke about it. Is his grappling and his conditioning. That's really his two big mainstays, and maybe his defensive jiu-jitsu is not great either. But and someone like Khabib with his grappling definitely could strengthen, use his strength to get into that. But I think when you look at obviously we've looked at Conor. I think that's the big things we've kind of touched on. He's great striking, and he's very, very kind of mediocre conditioning and not great kind of takedown defense. He will be it's not great because he's not really faced wrestlers who are going to take him down or want to take him down predominantly all the time. The one time we've kind of seen it was Mendes, and Mendes had success.
Yeah.
But Mendes is a small dude compared to what Khabib's going to be on fight night. Even when they were staring off, Khabib's bigger. So he's definitely going to be the bigger guy on fight night, without a doubt. But the one big thing that worries me with Khabib is the weight cut.
Not so much now because he's got the right guys in him, the right guys doing the nutrition. Basically, it is.
He's got to get it perfect, though. I think he's got to get it perfect. With Conor, it's not a big weight cut for that guy. He's got to get himself into that. For Khabib, it's a big weight cut, and he has to get it right because we've seen when he's not got it right, he's had to pull out a fight near fight time, and that's scary.
That was pre-nutritional. That was pre having a nutritionist.
He had an operation as well, did he not? I think so. Regarding I went to Germany, I can't remember what they did, but he got that sorted out. But that's a big thing. I still think he'll make the weight. It's his biggest fight of his life, his biggest paycheck. He has to make that weight.
I think the UFC would even help in getting him making weight. They would somehow, they'd be like, look, fuck, we will pay for the guy to come and help you, nutritionist, whatever. That I think that's something that the UFC can't afford to let happen. If he drops from the card, the card's a fight night card. Yeah,
that's why it's pretty good though that the UFC have put Ferguson and Pettis on there because at least they can make a fight off the back of that. It's not going to be as big as what it originally going to be, but even if Khabib did pull out, Ferguson, Conor, it's all dependent. I think Conor would take the fight. He likes to fight. It's pretty obvious.
I think the smack talk between them two would have been awesome.
Yeah. It would have been a bit different, definitely, but I think we've kind of spoke about Conor as much as we really need to. I think we need to move over to the champ and speak about his unbelievable talents that he's got. So you can go with that one.
So we'll wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for tuning in for this one. We are going to separate the two podcasts over. So we'll have the Khabib one now. So again, we'll have the links in both podcasts for each one for Conor, one for Khabib. So jump in and watch them. Let's go over now.